Hello viewers. Today's topic is something very interesting, the one which I have not read during my medical education curriculum or my training period also. This is something which has come into limelight in the recent days and it is kind of picking up very fast. The concept of diet or natural cure for type 2 diabetes mellitus. So, before getting on to how to cure it or how to prevent it or how to stop it from progression, we shall know what is type 2 diabetes mellitus in a short way. Type 2 diabetes mellitus is a metabolic disorder which is characterized by insulin resistance and a defect in insulin secretion. So, the majority of the metabolic problem is mainly because of insulin resistance, which is what we can control partly with diet, and the other part is insulin secretion, which is deficient in type 2 diabetes mellitus. So, everybody will be knowing like why is this type 2 diabetes mellitus being caused. It may be because of genetic reasons, because of lifestyle problems, and because of many other drugs and etc. etc. There are umpteen number of causes for that. So, how can this type 2 diabetes mellitus be controlled without medications or with minimal medications? As we always say, the diet for a diabetic person is something very important. We always advise to cut down the carbs, that is the carbohydrates, and we say to take more of fiber and more of protein and adequate amount of fat. So, in recent days the concept of LCHF diet has come into trend. So, what is LCHF? Low carbohydrate and high fat diet. So, low carbohydrate, moderate protein and high fat, this is actually LCHF, and that is also known as keto diet in other ways. So, previously this keto diet was used for treating epilepsy and maybe for weight loss and things like that, but recently we have also started it to manage or control our blood sugars, particularly in people who are having type 2 diabetes mellitus. It may not be effective in type 1 diabetes mellitus because type 1 diabetes mellitus as such is mainly because of a deficiency in insulin secretion, insulin production. So, in that case this ketogenic diet may not be that helpful, but type 2 diabetes mellitus definitely it has a good role, particularly for people who are able to tolerate that. So, this ketogenic diet should be taken with proper care and concern, and it must be under a follow-up of a trained doctor or a nutritionist who is well aware with the benefits, the concerns and the problems which can be caused by these keto diets. So, the majority of the people, when they take the keto diet in a wrong way, what happens is that they lose weight, but in spite of that, on top of that, they also have minerals and vitamin deficiencies because they don't take the proper balanced diet which is required for a proper human living. So, when taking a keto diet, we should make sure that low carbohydrate is focused. That is what we always say to all diabetic patients. We always say reduce your carb content, the rice which you take reduce, the wheat which you take reduce, cut down all the sugars etc. And moderate protein, we always say consume good amount of protein in your diet because that is something which is not going to increase your sugars so directly, and it does take time for digestion also. And high fat concept is something which is more problematic or which is more kind of controversial according to medical knowledge. So, the thing behind this high fat diet is that what few doctors we think is that high fat may lead to something dyslipidemia or high amount of body cholesterol and things like that. But this ketogenic diet is something which says the fat which we are going to consume, the high fat, that is going to turn into ketones, which is going to turn as a fuel mechanism for the body. imagine a vehicle which was running with under petrol for so many long days, and suddenly you take a diesel and pour into the vehicle. So it may not be working. Suppose there is a vehicle which was working with petrol and diesel on a particular period of time, and slowly you cut down the petrol and bring up the diesel level, fairly the vehicle will move on for a quiet period of time. So that is the same thing which is going to happen with the human body also. You are going to cut down your carbohydrate content which you are eating, and you are slowly going to increase the fat content. So that you have to do it very gradually under supervision. It is not an abrupt process. You cannot stop it all of a sudden and start taking that diet as you think, because it's something very difficult for a person to adapt from a very say like routine diet which you take and to a different diet pattern and continue it for a prolonged period of time. So the problem with keto diet is that people may not be able to tolerate few of them, and people will not be continuing it on a long term basis. Only when you continue it on a long term basis, you find the benefit to be on a sustained level. Otherwise, once you are going to stop that and come back to your routine diet, then your metabolism is also going to shift from the fat burning to the carbohydrate burning. So again your sugars are going to go back. So this LCHF diet is something which is very promising and it is very assuring, but there is definitely a concern regarding the health safety part, and long term studies or long term follow up of patients is definitely required to suggest it on a very wide basis, particularly for people who are having many comorbidities, like for example kidney disease and say like heart disease and things like that. We may not be able to implement keto diet on a very larger scale, but for people who are not having any sort of any other disorders except type 2 diabetes mellitus, for those patients keto diet definitely has a very promising role, at least in short term, for them to reduce their weight, which will indirectly help in managing the sugar levels, and the other thing is in reducing the carbohydrate content, which is also going to help them in managing the sugar levels. So I hope this video gave an insight to you regarding what is LCHF and what is this keto diet basically about and how do we go about it. In our next episodes, I will be putting on more content regarding the keto diet and what are the products which you can take under a keto diet, safe products which you can take under a keto diet, so that you know which is the safe things which you can take. Even at home, you can try this keto diet by yourself with your own preparations, and you can just see like how things work out. Okay. So please stay tuned to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and share our videos. If you like this video, please click on the like button and do not forget to click on the notification bell for regular updates. Thank you. God bless you.